Feeling boxed in by tiny new build lots? You are not alone. But here's the good news. There are neighborhoods where you can get a little bit more yard, particularly in a new build. So today we are looking at spaces where you can get a little breathing room. Hey everyone, it is Alyson, your real estate strategist and realtor for the South Denver area. One of the most common conversations I have with my clients is about space. Please give me space. I do not want to be so close to the people around me when I get my new house, whether that is for kids, for hopes for a pool, for the dogs, for just their own sanity. The conversation around privacy is a common thread. And if you've been house hunting, looking for homes, you know that it's not the easiest thing to find, that bit of breathing room, particularly in the new build world. So we're going to simplify things today, and I'm going to share with you where you can find a little space and get a new build home. And I'm also going to share a short list of places where you can find space in the existing home world as well. So stay tuned for all of it. Now, before we dive into the lots, the homes, I want to give a little visual for the difference between what I consider a standard builder lot nowadays versus the quarter acre lots, the half acre that we're going to talk about. Because when I talk about elbow room, I'm talking about at least a quarter acre lot. At that point, you have a lot of space from neighbors. You have a lot of privacy with trees, thick pines, so you can really create a hedge of protection for yourself or put in that pool if you would like. Yes, I have seen pools on lots much smaller than a quarter acre if that's really your bent. So let this be the perspective of a small builder lot. We're saying this is about 5,500 square feet. Then if we move up from there to roughly a quarter acre, in perspective, that would be about this big. So we're almost double the space. Now, it doesn't feel like nearly as much, but really we're going from 5,500 to almost 11,000 square feet with this. When we move to half an acre, look at the difference. Then we really start to feel like we've got a lot more space going on. And then the creme de la creme, we move to 1 acre or larger. So this is what 1 acre looks like compared to this little builder grade lot, okay? So now we're also gonna be looking at homes. You're gonna see the backyards, but when you're not able to compare them side by side, it's not always the easiest thing to go, is that lot worth it? And homes sit differently, right? A home might sit here on the front, your driveway's here, and you have this huge backyard, or you may have a large front yard and your home's kind of in the middle, and all of a sudden you have this little strip back here. Or it may be a much longer yard, and so you don't have as much side yard. And all of that plays into how the lot functions and fits for you and what it is that you want. Now that we have some common footing on lot sizes, let's dive into the first neighborhood, and we're gonna go to Castle Pines Village. I've done numerous videos on Castle Pines Village. The thing about this area is that you have trees, you have larger lots, there's existing homes, of course, and then we also have the new construction. There are custom home lots, you can come in and just do anything you want, and then we have some semi-custom with TrueMark homes. Their signature collection is letting you do these just beautiful open homes with modern design on roughly third acre lots for the most part. And I'm really excited to see that they've started to release some new lots, or they will soon, that are pushed back a little bit further from the road. So TrueMark owns this kind of loop of land, the street. Part of those homes sit on the main road that goes through Castle Pines Village. And anytime you're on a main road, even in a neighborhood, it does mean things are louder. And we've got a very large neighborhood in here. So as people are driving in and out, driving to the clubhouse, driving up to the pool, driving to go golf, you are the one who's got all of those cars going by you. So to see that there are new lots that are set a little farther back means you have more quiet, more privacy. So those are premium lots and they'll be released soon. So that is wonderful news. With this being a resort lifestyle community, gated, golf, these homes are starting at around $2.1 million finished and going up from there. This is certainly a favorite for executives, families, retirees, you name it. Next, let's head down to Castle Rock. We're going to talk about Crystal Valley Ranch. There are several options in here. Toll Brothers at Crystal Valley is one of these options. They offer quarter acre lots regularly. Some of them move toward a third acre. These are big enough that Toll Brothers is able to offer 4-car garages, RV garages in this collection in particular. Their lots here are larger than you're going to find with Toll in most other communities, and certainly with nearly every other production builder. Toll and Shea, as you know, are what I consider to be your higher end or your luxury builders in this production segment. They each have different nuances, strengths, etc. Toll's going to give you a few more selections, a few more customizations. The other thing I like about these lots, they're situated so that no home is backing to another. So on top of having your large expansive lot, you have privacy that extends beyond your lot line. So it really gives you a feel of not being boxed in. On top of that, if you want a lower price point, because these are really finishing out around 1.2 to 1.6 million, in Crystal Valley, we've got Richmond Homes and their collection. They've got Oak Ridge and Vista Pines, and we're looking more in the $800 to $1.2 million range in there. And there are plenty of lots in that 1/4 acre to 1/3 acre range. They're farther along in the sales cycle in there, so the selection may be a little more limited. But I would say price point wise, you're probably in the 900 to low 1.1 million, less on those outliers of 800 to 1.2. And with incentives the way they are with new builds right now, I really think there's a lot of opportunity to get good pricing within this segment with Richmond or any of the other builders we're going to be talking about that aren't true semi-custom. Also in Crystal Valley is Workshop Colorado. So Workshop Builders is doing their full semi-custom line. Every lot in here is running around a 1/2 acre. And everything has mountain views, whether it's out the front or out the back, depending on the orientation of the property on the street. They're doing one street and it's on a cul-de-sac end and it's in an established neighborhood or right off an established neighborhood overlooking the Montaigne area that's done by Toll Brothers. So there are rooftops way below. It's not like you're looking right at them. And then the street is kind of offset so that the ones down below have walkout basements and they're looking out the back to the mountains, and the ones that are a little up higher have a berm and privacy behind them, and all their views are out the front. These are large enough lots that there are options for detached garages, 4-car garages. There could be a rooftop deck. You could have another outbuilding put on. You can do a lot of customization on that 1/2 acre, and the entire home is semi-custom. Anything inside the walls can really be changed as long as you're willing to pay to do what it is you want. And they've already established a lot of semi-custom options as well. I've shared a video about Workshop Colorado. I have worked with many of the folks who are there now with a previous semi-custom builder in town. They really do fine work and care about their people quite a bit. So if the location works for you in Crystal Valley and the budget works for you, then I would recommend you check them out. Staying in Castle Rock, we're going to move to Makanta, and we are going to bring the price down a little bit because Workshop Colorado and those semi-custom options are running 1.5 to 3 million plus. Makanta includes your Taylor Morrison, your Toll Brothers, your Lennar, and we are generally maxing out at around 1.4, and those would be for Toll Brothers homes that are on nicer lots. If it's a real premium lot with a $400,000 lot premium, we're going to push that, but those are few and far between. Everything in Makanta sits on a greenbelt or open space. You do have to look for those larger lots, but there are some in there that hit that 1/4 acre marker. But maybe for you, a 0.2 acre lot is just fine as long as there's no one behind you. You just need a little more room than average and really want privacy. This is a spot that might work for you because of that greenbelt open space design in that neighborhood. Okay, let's jump over to Parker. There are several great neighborhoods over there as well, just like we found in Castle Rock. First up, we're going to talk about the Timbers. I just did a video on Pinery and the Timbers, but the Timbers still has some new construction. So if you, again, are wanting to do your own home and create your own thing, you can still do that in here. Grab your own plot of land, talk to your builder, create something unique and fresh, and you'll have that easy button option where you don't have to do a lot of work on that house for many years to come. Now, the newer the home in the Timbers, the fewer trees you're going to have, because this land that they're developing now, they have some trees in parts and pockets, but it is not looking nearly as mature as some of these older parts where you have really rich, dense, thick stands of pines. Some of that is landscaping from home ownership, and some of that is just the way the builder worked around the trees that existed. That is not the case for what we see now around some of these new builds. The trees are off a little ways outside the property line, but they pretty much came in and cleared everything. So you are going to have to bring in mature trees to kind of block some of the sight lines from your neighbors in here, but Timbers is beautiful. In addition to being a neighborhood that has loads of trees, those larger acre lots, it's a golf course lifestyle community. And while the homes in the Timbers side don't generally butt up against the golf course, giving you golf course views, you have a short drive or a golf cart ride to get over to the club and take in all that they have to offer, whether that's tennis, the course, pools, if you yourself like to swim, have grandkids, family, whatever that is. Another one of our fantastic golf course communities is Pradera. It is just a stone's throw away from the Timbers as well. This beautiful community originally designed to attract both families and golf lovers. It's been around for quite some time. You see beautiful semi-custom and custom homes in here, and there is a segment where you can still build your own home on 1 to 5 acres. Celebrity Homes is the builder on those, and they built much of what already exists in Pradera. Now, I'm going to tell you my opinion. The homes that are being built today are of not quite the same quality of the older homes. If you prefer newer, you like the look, the style's a little more sleek, maybe a little more farmhousey, a little more modern, then by all means do strong inspections, get that style, and go with the new build. If you have any inkling toward a slightly more traditional, you like millwork, you like wood, you like stone, then look at the existing homes in Pradera. They really do feel a little bit different. And my colleagues who live in here, who've sold a lot of homes in Pradera like me, when we talk about the difference between the current phase and previous builds, it does seem to be there's a strong difference in look, character, and in a sense, the quality feels a little bit different. But it's not common you're going to get 5 acres in other parts of Pradera. It's easy to get an acre, so that's not strong competition. But if you're wanting that larger lot, that doesn't come up as commonly in Pradera. So if you like this area and you want some space, going with this new celebrity option may be a really good fit. Another spot in Parker I want to talk about is Vavant. This is built out by Cardell Homes. This is not a golf community. It is all about outdoor lifestyle and mountain views. So Cardell is an international builder. They build in Canada, they build in multiple states in the US, and here they are doing 1.5 acre lots with the whole goal to be how much space can we give you with an open corridor view to see Pikes Peak, to see Longs Peak, to have privacy from your neighbors, to look out onto the expansive area that they have purchased to build on, so you really feel like you have an open corridor view. The plus in here is, since there's no amenities, that you are close to town. You're 5 minutes away from the grocery store, from Target, from Walmart, Home Depot, running all your errands, getting onto the main strip, and the neighboring neighborhood has the elementary school, middle school, high school, so everything is really convenient while you feel worlds away because you sit up high, you see the mountains, you feel like the world is passing you by because you really don't see anything but nature and a few other houses dotted around you while you are nestled in on your 1.5 acres of land. Our last stop in Parker is one more golf club. It is crazy private. You do not even know you are driving by it when you are on the road. It is Colorado Golf Club. Most of the lots still left in here for private custom builds are running about 2.5 acres. This is one of the area's most prestigious elite golf communities. There's still a wait list to get into the golf club. And the homes in here, because you've got enough land, you really can do incredibly unique things. These are not meant for just your average semi-custom home. These are full custom builds. One of our previous Avs players used to live in here. I toured his home and we had the full gorgeous custom home, and then we had an ice skating rink, a warm watch house attached to that, so that when he and his friends were skating, practicing, playing, scrimmaging, having a good time, everyone else, the wives, the other friends could sit and watch and stay warm, have a party, food, all those things. And so there is all sorts of land adjacent to the house for you to create whatever it is you want. A toy barn, a hobby barn, a workout space, a place to store cars. This is an area for high net worth folks who like privacy, who of course want golf course views, who love to have mountain views. There are some lots that are wide open, do not have trees. You're going to have to bring in the trees for privacy. And then there are some that are set back into pockets of trees that already have some privacy built in. We're going to move over to Littleton. You're going to pick up on a theme. We are talking about a golf course again. We're going to be at Ravenna. The lots here range from, say, maybe a 1/3 acre, could be a 1/2 acre. None of the homes really back up to each other. They're facing red rocks, they're facing the golf course. You might have a little open space. These are modern, aesthetically, architecturally outstanding properties, and The clubhouse, the golf course, the fitness facilities, the amenities are really top notch. I love going over to this community, touring with my clients, showing them the clubhouse. There are currently lots available and there are more lots coming in this area. So if you like that west side of town, you like a smaller golf community, every resident is guaranteed access to the club, then this may be one that you would have interest in. If you want to live a little more remote, we can head south from there. We can go to Sidelia. There's a couple options in Sidelia that are outstanding. We've got Bermuda Ranch. They have 1 to 3 acre lots roughly for most of their properties. They even have lock and leave lifestyle, so you can get a paired home. You just roll in, hang out as you want, leave as you want, not much yard to take care of. But for those of us that are talking about space and elbow room, that's not probably what's top of mind. So the larger lots in here really give you some space to enjoy all of the foothills that are surrounding you. Sidelia feels so far removed from the world, and yet you are not far from anything. It is a stone's throw to get into Castle Rock and the outlets and the stores and the Whole Foods and the restaurants. It is so easy to live there and do life and then just retreat back to your little oasis. Also in Sidelia is the Keep. The Keep is a full custom home community behind gates. We're talking 4+ acre lots. You may get up to 10 acres depending on what you find. And then you bring in your builder to create your beautiful oasis. So your home may be oriented to see out to the east. You may get down to the south and Pikes Peak views. You may turn toward the west. It's all about the land that you get and what you create on it, what your views are going to be. I have one more community to give you, and then I'm going to give you all of the places that you can look for existing homes on larger lots. So our last community where you can do new construction is Foxill in Franktown. This is a beautiful community where homes are generally on 2 acre lots. Numerous custom builders have already been approved. They understand the architectural committee requirements. You could bring in someone else if you wanted. There is modern farmhouse. There is just Colorado modern. Lots of glass, lots of views. It is a really wonderful place. And then it was one of our 2 agri-hoods in Colorado, which means you get CSA boxes. They do harvest festivals. There's a small community feel here because of just being built around something a little bit different than your average ho-hum neighborhood. All right, so all of the places I've mentioned have homes existing in them that you could go and buy resale. So if you don't want to have to start from scratch, you don't want to wait, you want to take advantage of all the landscaping being in, the fencing being in, someone doing a little bit of work, fighting with the builder through the first year of warranty, and you would like to just move in, drop, and be done within 30 days of going under contract, you can look in all the places we've already mentioned. On top of that, here are some other great options. Castle Pines. I know I'm naming like an entire town, but the older side. There's new construction galore going up on the east side of I-25. I'm not talking about that. The older section that is dense with trees. There are a lot of larger lots. Forest Park is a beautiful area with dense lots. We've got the gated communities, even some of these standard production homes that fall into the $900,000 range have 1/4 acre lots, some of them back to a park or a green belt. You'll have to pick and choose, have your agent filter by size, but that whole entire area is fantastic. Castlewood Ranch in Castle Rock, the name ranch, it is living up to that. The lots in here are much larger. You have a very suburban looking, very modern current home on a lot of acreage. There are some power lines down there, so if you don't like those, you're gonna have to pick and choose very carefully, or if you don't like to be near them at all, this location's not gonna be for you. Sapphire Point in Castle Rock is kind of a tucked away little gem. It sits south of Makanta, and there are a lot of larger lot locations in this neighborhood. Again, they have some power lines that cut through, but the neighborhood is so big that there are places you could be where you would never know there were power lines around. So again, if you don't like them at all, you're going to want to stay away from this neighborhood. If it's just you don't want to see them or be within one street of them, you've got plenty of options. I have a couple clients in here who got amazing homes. They have full corridor views. So they have a big lot and then a gully and an open space that runs for just acres and acres behind them. And it is stunning. The Meadows in Castle Rock. I just did a deep dive video on that. If you are serious about the Meadows, you'll want to check that out. Despite it being a master plan community, there are larger lots in there. And here's the thing. Most of those homes run a little older before we got into shrinking down the lot sizes as we got fuller and fuller and fuller, trying to squeeze more people in. So because they're older homes, they tend to fall under the median price point for the area. So it's a great opportunity if your budget is not huge because a lot of what we talked about today were semi-custom, custom, $1 million, more, $3 million, right? I'm talking about home options that could be under $750,000. So that one in the Meadows may be a great choice. Highlands Ranch, all of Highlands Ranch. There's not a pocket, a particular spot. You can find quarter acre lots, a little bit more, dotted all throughout Highlands Ranch. Now there are certainly places where we're going to find 6,000 square foot lots and tiny little baby lots that feel very close to your neighbor. A little more is going to be to the north when it was older. You're certainly going to find some in backcountry. You're going to find them in the gated communities. But even outside of that, we are going to have an opportunity to find lots that are a quarter acre, a little bit larger, in any neighborhood across Highlands Ranch. So if that area works for you, your commute, the schools, you just like how convenient everything is, we can find something. Roxborough Park in Littleton is another great option. They sit to the west, closer to the Red Rocks, closer to the foothills. If you're a big hiker, mountain biker, love to be outdoors, you're going to find some options over that direction. Coming back central, if Lone Tree works for you, maybe you work at Schwab, you like to be off I-25, you like something that's just a little bit more convenient, because Lone Tree is definitely convenient. Heritage Hills and Heritage Estates are going to offer you multiple options that have a quarter acre or more, and Heritage Estates is definitely going to offer you up to maybe even an acre, a little above, little less. So I would recommend you look in both of those locations. And last on my short list is going to be the Pinery and Parker. I mentioned Pinery and Timbers really quickly when I went through the Timbers new construction, but Pinery comes in at a lower price point. I don't want to be putting out everything that's in the $1 million+ price point because it doesn't all have to be that way. So Pinery, there are homes that start in around the 600 price point, and everything in there has to be a minimum of a quarter acre. So you definitely can get the elbow room you want, and lots can even get a little bit bigger than that. I tucked videos all throughout this video for you to check out. Here are a few more. If you want to connect on finding privacy, quiet, a little room from neighbors in South Denver so you can live your best life, please reach out. I would be thrilled to connect. And I will see y'all next week.